Thumbs up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the December 2nd meeting of the Infrastructure Task Force Committee. Can we take the roll, please?
Mr. Angeli, Mr. Barnett.
Here.
Mr. Grabsky, Mr. Labrie.
Here.
Mr. Lamberts, Mr. Partington, Ms. Retzko. Here. Mr. Walters.
Here.
Mr. Zelman.
Here.
And Chairman Warner.
Here. Thank you very much. Has everybody had an opportunity to take a look at the agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes of October 7? Are there any comments on the October 7 minutes? Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve as written. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving along. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. This is our December 2nd meeting, and as you know, according to our resolution, the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee shall terminate on February 18, 2025. That's 2 months from now. So I would like to have a discussion about what you all want to do, vis-a-vis sending a communication to the Commission about whether or not the committee should be reauthorized in some form. We also need to have a discussion about our own participation in this committee. As I have noted on our terms, some of us are well past our use-by date and probably are not eligible to be reappointed to this committee or some form of this committee. So that's why I'm happy to have David with us today. David, hello. Let's all say hi to David.
Hi, David.
Can you hear us?
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, David.
We heard it before.
Hear me?
There you go.
Yeah,
Now
we can
we
hear you
can.
now.
Okay. Good
Hi,
afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. We're very happy to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
And hoping that you can explain to us some of the intricacies of this committee being reappointed or reestablished in some form, and the membership's eligibility to be reappointed to whatever committee is reformed, if it is reformed. So can you tell us what is our status actually?
So, with any boards and committees on 1-year terms, the maximum amount that you can serve is 6 consecutive terms. And once you're done, then you're off the board for 2 years. And the commission would then need to appoint a successor. And as for, are you asking in relation to how the new commission is coming in tomorrow, or just want to clarify exactly what else you're looking for?
Okay, Ralph, did you have a question?
I just wanted to make a comment on your statement. The name of the Infrastructure Task Force was changed,
3 times.
and last time it was Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, that's the new, and the 6 years commences again from that last change.
See, that's the kind of questions we need to answer, David. I mean,
Right.
you may not have the answer right now, but these are the questions that we're asking. I had not thought
Yeah,
of that.
and okay, and yeah, I'm gonna take down all the questions and I'll make sure I get everything to you. When title changed, did it also restart it? Okay.
And that reset was done in December of 2021.
Right.
So the resolution says, oh no, I don't know about that. So it's extended.
Are we talking about,
Yes,
I'm sorry, are we talking about the overall task force itself or individual member participation?
well, first of all, we
They're
need to know
Okay.
the group's status.
Okay.
And if I'm reading the resolution correctly, the resolution of December 2021, that is when that happened. When they changed the name and they extended us to February 18, 2025. So that happened in December 2021. So, and why they extended us to 25, I don't know. That's not a normal time, is it, David? It's like 4 years.
Sometimes they do it for a year, or sometimes they do it for an additional. I can't recall why they decided on that time frame.
Maybe it was after the election.
I don't know. But for the record, Jerry Angeli has joined us for the record. Jerry, we're asking David questions relative to the status of the committee, and then we'll move on to the status of any individuals. So if that is the case, then the Infrastructure Task Force still terminates on February 18, 2025, doesn't it? I mean, that's the resolution. There's no getting around that.
And I'm just pulled up the member roster with regards to the question. You're saying that really everyone is in their third. The longest one I see is third term. So it did reset in 2021. So there wouldn't be anyone falling off the board if they were to extend the board, based on what I'm looking at right now.
But isn't the third term the end? But it's the third term from the beginning of when it was established, or the third term from when it was reestablished in December of 21?
Based on what I'm looking at, I believe that's the case, but I am going to follow up with the attorney's office on that.
Hi, this is Camille with the clerk's office also. So there's a few committee members that were reappointed, but their terms are only for 1 year because the committee is supposed to terminate in February of 2025.
And who would that be? Do you know off the top?
Sure. So Mr. Walters, you, Jerry, Ralph, let's see, Peter, and Shane. So yes, those are the individuals that are currently serving a 1 year term, because for the previously they were serving 2 years, but since the committees terminated in February when they were reappointed, it was only to 1 year.
I'm not following that at all. The committee has been the committee was established in December of 2021 and given a lifetime until February 2025. So it was given a 4-year lifetime. All of us have been here, practically all of us except for Gregory and maybe Martha have been here for 4 years.
I guess the three of us.
We've been here
From
for way
the
longer
beginning,
than that,
from
from
the
the beginning.
inception.
Well, right. The task force was initially created in 2017, and then the membership changed and the name of the committee changed
Right?
also, but it was initially created in 2017.
Yeah, we know that, but we're thinking, or is it true, I'm asking you, that we don't go back to 2017.
No.
Anything past 2021, December 21, doesn't count because that was on the old committee.
From what I've seen with other boards and committees, that is not the case, but we can check with the attorney's office and provide clarity.
Okay, so
That's-
that's not 100%,
No.
but it needs to be clarified, right? Between David and Camille, it needs to be.
We'll put a message into the attorney's office and get clarification, and we'll share that with the board.
Okay, but whatever that situation is, this committee terminates in February. And if we don't take any action, if the commission doesn't take any action, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Everybody.
For everybody, regardless of when we got here.
How many years, yeah.
Okay,
Correct. Yeah. Board would be done. Right.
all right. So if the commission were to re-up this committee for, let's say, another year or 2 years or whatever is their pleasure, the next question is, are any of us finished in terms of our terms of service, or do any of us have any term of service left?
And that's what we'll clarify with the city attorney's office, if the 2017 to 2021 does count towards it, or everything reset in 2021. So we will get you that answer this week.
Appreciate that. But nevertheless, regardless of our individual status, we have to decide if we're going to, as a committee, we have to decide if we're going to have a communication to the commission saying, hey guys, remember, The committee is over in 2025, and we think that the job is so important that some form of committee should be continued.
We can change the name.
Didn't we do that once before?
Yes, we did.
Not that long ago, not 21. We did that
I thought we did it since then. but-
2 years ago or something when the water treatment plant wasn't completed.
I don't actually recall that, but the only thing I've got in my files is from December 2021 when they changed the name and gave us 4 years.
That gave us another 4 years, like a new committee, which in essence it is.
David, is there any way to search records? I think the city commission extended us as a committee already once, since I've been on this board, and I've only been on, this is my 4th year, I think, or 3rd, I can't remember. I think we got extended once already.
So from December of 21 to February is less than it's like 3 years, 2 months or something.
Right.
I remember like you.
I
There was
remember-
another request
I
made.
think we've done it
I
once.
thought we did too, but I'm listening to what she's reading there, and I hold nothing in my hand to dispute, so I'm being quiet.
Well, I mean, that's why we're here, to answer these questions. David, absolutely. Some people recall that there may have been
I'm sorry, wait a minute. So that was in 21,
21,
December of 21.
right.
So I think I got appointed at that time. And then I said to somebody, well, if the thing's gonna get disbanded in February, why am I even bothering? And they said, don't worry, they're gonna continue us. That's what it was. So that was in 2022 that the city commission met, and I think they extended it.
Yeah, well, the term would end in February, so then the new term would begin.
It might have been a
Something
term
like that.
issue as opposed to a committee issue,
Oh,
James. For the record, Shane Garbowski is with us. Thank you.
But with the water plan, I remember talking to the mayor about adding this committee to evaluate the water plan.
And that was to add us to evaluate, not to
Right.
extend us.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what we're confusing it with.
oh,
In
okay.
any event, we need to clarify.
Yes.
So, my question to all of us for discussion is, do we feel strongly enough to communicate to the commission? And we have to do it now because it takes a long time, to remind them that the committee is scheduled to terminate, and we think that,
Madam Chair,
there's more work to be done. Yes?
what's our schedule as far as task is concerned?
That's a good question.
Because I think that would weigh heavily on whether some of us will be staying on if we got major tasks, like we have with the water plant and the sewer and all that. That required, I remember we was talking about it, this committee should continue and not hand off to people who just coming aboard. And I think, depending on the task, can staff tell me what's next?
From an
What-
infrastructure perspective.
We have a stormwater projects. There is a bunch of those coming on the line. Those are probably about 200 to 400 million projects in the next 5 years or so.
The next tranche of stormwater management.
Right. So, and we have some of the work for the new water plant, but those projects are already on their way.
So there's the fortified Fort Lauderdale projects,
Yeah.
okay, those are the storm. What's the next tranche of the water sewer?
Well, there is a consent order for the I&I work that we have to comply with. So those are two major, and that's probably another $100 million for the next 5-7 years.
And how about the water, the potable water issue? Inventorying and repairing,
We do have a consent order for the water, but it was minor, and that's completed. We still have the water and sewer consent order that ends September 2026. But with the new I&I program, they trying to set up another consent order to do just I&I. and that's gonna start. I started already it's on the design phase, but it's gonna go on for the next 7 years or so.
Don't we have a consultant working on the water pipes?
Ardora is the one doing the I&I work. They're the
I&I is drainage.
Sewer.
I'm talking about potable water,
Yeah, we don't, I mean,
Water line
The
replacement.
water line replacements.
right now we just got the CIP projects for water. They come, we change the CIP program every year. And I mean, those are the only ones that we have right now.
So there's no consultant contract to look at the whole potable water distribution system. I thought there was.
You're probably thinking about the asset management. The asset management is coming up to look at all that, water, sewer, and stormwater.
So that's that project, that's the database ongoing with that.
Asset management is the database.
Right, but that's the program that is gonna evaluate and detect, when the pipes need to be changed and all that. So there is not really a list of projects that we're doing for just water. There is some, but just for the CIP.
Just age and water and
Right.
size.
Right.
is
So we
basically-
have X amount of dollars to do water every year.
Mhm.
And they prioritize the projects that are, or the pipes that are older and
Mhm.
worse condition, and that's how we develop the CIP. But to evaluate further and predict breaks, that's what we do with the asset management.
So do we have a consultant who's doing that?
Yeah, Chris Bennett is in charge of the asset management, and I believe they have several consultants that are looking into it. I'm not too familiarized with the program, so you have.
Remember they gave us a readout on that.
They did, and it was very extensive.
And
It was
it-
very extensive, yeah.
It was extensive, and so, and they're in the process of slowly gathering data to create the database.
Yeah.
And they're at least 3 years before it comes into production. But oversight of that and ensuring that stays on track, that would be something I think is of value.
Okay, so we've got Fortify Fort Lauderdale, we've got the consent orders, we've got the asset management plan,
That's ongoing.
and we've got eventually replacing City Hall.
Yeah.
The RFP or RFI or whatever it is to be, the same way we did the water treatment plant, commenting on that.
Is the Lohmeyer plant included in this CAP?
Yeah, it's including all the wastewater, all those projects for both plants, for all 3 plants are CIP projects.
And sidewalks?
Sidewalks, that's a different.
It's always,
Well, we have a sidewalk master plan,
Right.
Yeah.
okay,
But Public Works does the maintenance, but Transportation does
Is doing the planning.
the new stuff.
right.
But also on the water treatment plant, I understand it's under contract, but there would be a change order. So there would be some supervision required because I'm sure it's during construction, things gonna happen. There's some PFAS, we heard about this,
Right.
common new regulatory compliance. So I think that next 2 years, it's gonna be busy just to, help navigate how the project is going and where.
Yeah.
Not only that, that's, I'm sure the commissioning of the existing plants and blending this water, so that's gonna be some significant projects on the drinking water. So it's not like off the hook completely. because we
No,
can-
and one of the things that we do is we monitor. That has been one of the things that this committee in the past
Yes,
has
it
been doing.
just, yeah, we monitor the progress and we bring the, follow up, bring the ideas to the table, so.
And we highlight gaps or inconsistencies on the
Mhm.
reports. But I've not seen us see very many of those, since I'm the new guy, right? So going back to the advisory board, how much are we advising? I know at the city hall, we did send in some advisory information.
With the water plant, you weren't here, but that was a lot of work, and they wrote a
Recommendations.
recommendation.
Mm.
So they do advise, and some of these, if you want updates on the programs, we can bring people every so often, like we were bringing the water plant guy to give us a status
That's
report.
We don't have that time, do we?
I'm sorry?
No, what I'm saying, if we were a re-up, your question was if we're re-upped, what could we highlight to the
Right.
commission?
Right.
As well, we do periodically review the water treatment plant
Absolutely.
progress.
Yeah, we do that. I think perhaps we could have you send a letter highlighting the things that we were just talking about.
Mhm.
And ask them if they, not if they want us, but if they need us. And if so, will we go with the current members or will there be new members? Will there be a name change to start the time on the committee? Just point all this stuff out and then they'll make the decision.
Now, James?
So I think there needs to be a letter. I think it needs to come from everyone,
Yeah.
signed by you, but everything
Absolutely.
comes from the
No, it's a
committee.
communication from the board.
And I think that infrastructure is so important and it's on everybody's mind and lips. We just went through an election. They all talked about infrastructure. This group, I believe, represents the residents of the city. And we should have a voice. So to me, there's an importance. Yeah, there's projects, but just the concept of the city needs to have residents' voices coming into them about the infrastructure that's going on in the city. I answer questions all the time for people in my neighborhood,
We
all
all
the time.
We all do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a need for it. So I don't know if
The infrastructure issues aren't going away. No.
no.
Sorry.
And that's why I brought up Lomar, because I think that's the next thing that they need to be thinking about, doing something, a new one or replacement or drilling more wells or whatever it is. That's the next thing.
That's the reason why we have the consent order, because when you have the I&I, and there is a lot of rain, we have to discharge to the intercoastal. Even the water is treated, but it's and
Right,
they're
we get
trying
fined for that.
for us to do less of that.
Oh.
So this is why the consent order is in place.
Okay, so let's try and narrow this down. First of all, just amongst ourselves, do you think it's important right now to tell them, here's the A, B, C, D, E, G, F list, because we really would have to sit here and make that list now, today,
Yeah, from our perspective,
from our
these
perspective?
these are the areas that we feel that need a committee such as the Infrastructure Task Force to look at, monitor, and make recommendations.
Yes.
Look
Perfect.
at,
Review, monitor,
Oversight.
oversight,
monitor,
Oversee.
and make
and
recommendations.
make recommendations.
I've got a question.
Okay.
And Omar, sorry for putting you on the spot, but are we helping you? I mean, you do your job.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a very good communication through all these years, and we accomplished what we said we were going to do. Right? So, yeah, I mean, we look at the board as experts, and we take their advice, and and pass it around to our people. So, yeah.
Yeah, they've learned their lesson. They no longer let me go through and do a walkthrough inspection of the police station or the water treatment plant.
You're off that list, buddy.
We're not experts in that.
And this consent order has not been officially issued yet, but we know it will be, but it's coming. But so that's why I mentioned it, so you can put it in there.
Yeah, you got a warning letter, right?
Right.
So what would be the technical term? Maybe David would know the answer to this question. David, you still with us? What would be the technical term for re-upping the committee? I can't say re-up.
Re-establishment or?
Reestablishment, consider
Extending.
extending.
Extend it.
Should consider extending. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Extending the term of the current committee. Or formulate a different committee?
Different committee with same task.
Yeah.
Pardon,
So
David?
So the last resolution says, it's amending the prior resolution, and then it says providing for an extension of the term of the board. Of the, I'm sorry, of the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee.
I'll
So
use
it's an
those words, extension,
of the term
yeah,
of the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee.
We're not a board, though, we're a committee.
Yeah, I misspoke on the first time, but
Yes.
Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee.
right, so we're asking them if the city commission desires to extend the term of the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee. I use those words,
Yes.
so that's the beginning of the communication.
I would
The
like
beginning
to
of the
see-
communications, we bring to your attention that the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee is set to terminate on February 18. And we're asking you whether you desire to extend the term of the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee. And we the board believes that the commission should do that, for the following
For the
reasons.
following reasons?
Yeah,
All right,
you
let's
got-
get the reasons.
You got some of the reasons right there.
I got it.
And on top of that, I think.
Review, monitor, and make recommendations on items such as.
Yes.
such
Yes,
as.
and list some of the major things, that's what I asked about the major, and point out to them, it is not prioritized in your list.
Okay, such as, what's the big one? Let's go fortify Fort Lauderdale, that's the big stormwater.
Stormwater is at the top of the list. I mean,
Fortify
Aye,
Fort
aye.
Lauderdale,
Right now.
stormwater,
the
sewer,
asset management plan,
asset management plans, for sure.
consent orders,
It's a
consent
critical-
orders. Water treatment plant,
Construction progress, yes.
water treatment, and
Infiltration
reimagine,
inflow.
and the new city hall. Well, in the consent orders are the I and I,
Okay,
alright?
alright,
Water treatment plant and
City Hall.
city,
So on City Hall
Yep.
there was another task force committee looking, also providing input on that.
no, that was the Urban Land Institute.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not. They're
Alright.
just- their job is done.
So,
Thank God.
Yeah, anything else?
Madam Chair, we have the purpose here in our,
Yes,
Agenda.
Rezo?
and it's referencing the resolution 1746. Is that the same that you
No,
read?
this is just the resolution making I don't have the actual words of our.
Okay, because here in the bottom, we have written actually the purpose.
Yes.
1746
Right.
Oh, okay, because that was 2017.
Yeah, but this is the words from the actual
From the
resolution.
first one, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So question, how long would we be asking them to do the extension? for?
I don't think that we should get into that.
Well, my point is these issues, water, sewer,
They're ongoing.
seawater, city data, it's ongoing. It's never gonna end. It needs some kind of
They're not
oversight.
gonna end, but they operate under the assumption that either you get reappointed every 2 years or you leave the board at the end of 2 years.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the group itself, not the individuals.
Okay, the group, it's, like you said, it's not in there.
So Merlin, I think this is where the importance of infrastructure, and I guess I was saying, all the residents of the city, this is on everyone's mind, and there's value in having residential representatives serve on this committee.
But we're not only residential representatives. I'm not a residential representative. Jerry's not a residential
You don't live
representative.
in the city?
No, we live in the city, but we're appointed for specific reasons. You're an engineer, Peter's an engineer. You're the person who represents the committee. I represent municipal, you represent business. I mean, we all have,
And municipal, yeah.
that's the way this group is constituted. We're not a citizens representative board, and we don't wanna be a citizens representative board. You wanna be,
So, but that's
higher than that.
very important to highlight, that the group is made of combination of those experts and we
And
represent.
residents. I'm a resident.
Correct.
I'm not an expert.
So
in
besides
any
the
of
point that
things.
we all residents of the city, we actually bring to the table the experience of the municipal or experience of the business. So I think it's good to show the diversity of the group because they may not know even who we are.
Okay,
Other
okay.
than our
Let me
names
flow
Okay.
with that. Let's flow with that. So far we got up to where we're at, have listed all the important things. Now you wanna add another section about who we are and why we believe, because that's like pushing us individually.
Can you push the, not you,
composition.
Marilyn, but what was the reason why you were put on this?
I represent municipal for some reason, because I have municipal experience.
Yeah.
You
Well,
have
I don't
business
even know what
experience.
that means.
I have no idea what it
Okay.
means.
What's the municipal?
They fit me into municipal.
Is that in the actual,
Yeah.
It is.
does it have
The
lists
people
like?
have,
Yeah.
there are jobs.
It is
Yeah.
in the website.
Okay,
When
okay.
you apply, when you put in your resume, you have to put, you
Okay.
have to go to.
You know, when it was formed, it was like, I was the engineer. They said specifically,
Budget was there also.
Yes, budget
I'm
was there.
municipal.
Municipal finance.
I'm municipal. I don't even know.
Are you municipal finance?
So
What are you?
we only look at public infrastructure,
What
correct?
mine say,
Correct.
community, right?
Because my expertise is private
Yeah, I
telecommunications
know.
infrastructure.
Like beat me up.
Mhm. He
Okay.
was
You're
definitely
blending different
community.
experiences here.
Okay. Oh, so we don't wanna push ourselves
Okay.
individually,
No, I'm
because
not trying to do
frankly,
that.
I may be past my use by date, so we're not, I don't think we wanna be
but the
pushing.
committee is
You just wanna push
comprised
the
of
company.
various.
I wanna push the committee,
Yeah.
so then they will just have, as you know, the committee represents, as you may know,
Comprised
No.
of various areas of
the
expertise.
committee
Well,
is
although
Comprised
comprised
of expertise, representatives of
of various
neighborhoods.
I think it's
people,
important to say not only the
members
residents of the city, but also
who represent.
represent diverse areas of expertise such as business
Yeah.
and engineering. So generally speaking.
All right, so we say that, and then we say, and we hope you will consider continuing this.
I think
no,
we should ask.
No, I think we can say that we believe it's important to extend the,
I believe there's a
This
need
committee
to
is-
extend the
yeah.
committees, since there's
I think
so
we
many
can
outstanding.
bring the recommendation to extend the committee.
Well, we've already told them we recommend that you extend the committee
Okay.
for the following reasons.
Okay,
Okay. Now, this is an additional reason, and it doesn't relate to extending the committee, it relates to extending the composition, continuing the composition, all right?
and
But I think we're saying with the value, there's value in that composition.
but the value is not only for residents but also for the
Businesses,
city departments and commissioners as well. So there is a bridge between the residents and the departments and I used the infrastructure term, bridge.
Let me throw this out. Let me throw this out. What would be their reason for not renewing this?
They'd be crazy, but I don't
No,
know.
what's the, is there a cost? I mean, there's a staff, people have to come.
Yeah,
There's a cost to the city to provide staff. And I know one city commissioner who thinks there are way too many commissions and boards.
that is true.
There may be more, but I know one who definitely thinks there's too many. So what's the argument for getting rid of us? Tell me, does anybody have an idea? What do you hear anything? Omar, no?
Unless they feel like, you know, we came, did what we're supposed to do, and now we're done, right?
That would be, to me, that would be the argument.
David?
We're well on our way, we have plans, we're well on our way, we don't need a committee anymore. That would be an
That could
argument.
be. David, are you on?
I'm here.
I don't know if you can speak to this or not, but what are the reasons why the city would want to disband a committee or an advisory board?
I think somebody had said it, if the commission determines that what the board was created for, if that has been completed, if the mission has been completed, that would be when they decided to do it. I can't really speak to what the individual commissioners believe at this time.
Okay, so given that, the purpose of this committee is, as you just said, review the existing city infrastructure, including but not limited to, and we go through the list. Okay, examine their current condition, review and identify major repair or replacement, as well as funding sources and financing alternatives, et cetera, and get community input. It
And
says here.
that doesn't cease.
the purpose remains the same.
It
The
does.
purpose remains the same, okay? Alright? We believe that the purpose of the advisory remains the same as stated in resolution such and such,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. and that therefore,
It's ongoing, I would use the word ongoing, and the need for this organization is ongoing.
and the need for
Currently
such
exists.
a something, a committee of some sort is
ongoing.
needed. Okay, that would do it, wouldn't it?
That would work for me.
All right,
Work
there you
for
go.
me.
So let's review. Ta-da. Oh, Jesus. Okay, let us review. The Infrastructure Task Force Committee brings to your attention that the ITAFC is set to terminate on February 18, 2025. The board believes that the commission should consider extending, what's those words?
We're not a board.
No.
Oh, God, yes, we don't want to be a board.
I thought you meant the
Committee.
board. I thought you meant the board of commission.
The committee.
The committee.
The committee believes that the commission should consider extending the term of the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee, no date, up to then, okay? For the following reasons. The committee reviews, monitors, and make recommendations on such items as fortify Fort Lauderdale, the asset management plan, consent orders, the water treatment plant, and the replacement of City Hall. As you know, the purpose of the Infrastructure Task Force, as stated in resolution such and such, and I'll just put it all in quote,
Yeah.
remains an important issue for the city, or remains
Ongoing.
ongoing. How I just say remains ongoing. Remains ongoing,
Yeah, period.
period. And that's it. That's it, that's it. That sound good to
Provided
you?
they double our salary.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing it unless my salary's double.
Right. Okay, can I restate
I'm
that
not doing
for
it
the
unless my head's
record,
on it.
so that you can read it back to us? Yeah, I'll restate it so that you can read it back to us. How's that? Right, we ready? Okay. The Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee brings to your attention that the committee is set to terminate on February 18, 2025. The committee believes the commission should consider extending the term of the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee for the following reasons. The committee reviews, monitors, and make recommendations on such issues as fortify Fort Lauderdale, the asset management plan, the consent orders, the water treatment plant, and replacing City Hall. The purpose of the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee, as stated in Resolution 17-46, it's even here for us, that's great. 17-46 remains the same. And these tasks are ongoing.
I would like to add just one.
Sure. But that's it, he would like to add. Where?
When you were naming the committees, I don't want them to think that's all. And just say
others.
to name a few or whatever.
Okay, all right. At the end
It's
of
not all of it.
replacing
It's
City
an
Hall
example.
and matters which may come up in the future, and matters which are bound to come up in the future. Matters which are bound to come up in the future.
And,
Thank you very much.
I just don't want them to think that's all.
That's it, we do.
It's over once we do that.
Okay.
We just get started.
All right. If you've got it, can you read it back? Oh, wait a minute, I can't make a resolution. Somebody has to make a resolution.
You mean you can't make a?
I can't move.
You can't move.
I can't? Okay, I move that, and you can say it, so that everybody hears it.
The ITFC brings to your attention that the committee is set to terminate on February 18, 2025. The committee believes the City Commission should consider extending the term of the ITFC for the following reasons. The committee reviews, monitors, and makes recommendations on items such as fortify Fort Lauderdale, the asset management plan, the consent orders, water treatment plant, and replacing City Hall, and matters which are bound to come up in the future. And other matters which are bound to come up in the future.
Thank you.
Purpose of the committee as stated in Resolution 1746 remains the same, and these tasks tasks are ongoing.
Thank you.
Very good.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right, you just signed up. If it goes again, you just signed up, just remember that. All right, so that really was the main purpose of today's meeting. I think we knocked that out in a very professional fashion.
And one more question, so
Sure.
who are we sending the letter to?
This is a
What-
communication to the city commission, correct?
Yes.
So it'll be presented at
Thank you. The clerk would have to.
They'll do that.
And when will we
in the
expect a
conference
response?
meeting.
Well, let's see, when would we expect that to be on the next commission meeting?
Let me take a look here. Thank you.
And while she's looking,
Yeah, David can answer that actually. So,
David, can you tell us when that communication might be on the next commission agenda?
It should be on the next one, the December 17th. We just have to have the copy of the communication and the draft minutes, and so as long as we get that before publishing, it'll make it onto the December 17th.
When's your date for publishing deadline?
Second, that would be the 10th.
The 10th, and to wait.
Preferably have it by the 9th.
Would we have the draft minutes ready by then?
that would be a prototype question.
You know what, if it doesn't make it on the 17th, then it makes it on the 20th. What's the next one after that?
It'll be January.
January.
Yeah.
Close enough.
It should be December the 31st.
I mean, it would be best if it made it on
It won't be
December
a meeting that day.
17, but if it makes it on January 2, the world doesn't come to an end. I would prefer December 17,
Yes.
because now they gotta think about it, they gotta have a meeting.
Do we have a meeting or not? Yeah.
Right. So we will leave it in your capable hands to try and get it on the 17th.
Not a problem.
Alright. Okay, so on December 17th, anybody gonna be in town? Because we should show up.
Yeah.
Cause they're bound to ask us, something.
Questions, yeah.
Or, just raise your hands, who's here?
Yeah.
Like that. Alright, you will let us know if it makes it for the
I
17th?
will, I'll send you an email.
Okay.
Thank you.
And just as a reminder, when we do have a communication, that one board member can speak at the meeting.
Only one at a time. Yes, exactly.
We know.
You'll get your chance this time.
You're not speaking today, or tomorrow?
No, I'm not.
I
I'm
can
not
talk
speaking
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
On what
I
item?
can't.
Conference,
No, but which item on the conference?
the park bond issue.
Oh, I wasn't aware. Oh,
That's-
the
that's
park
not-
lot. I didn't think about that.
It's a conference. I got to
But
speak
you
on
can-
it.
It'll be
You
yours,
can-
it'll be yours,
You
trust
can
me.
do it as an individual.
No, you can't.
No,
We can't, if there's two of us in a room,
only one can talk,
only one person can speak.
regardless of the topic.
Right.
They don't wanna hear 10.
That's the sunshine.
We did,
I got.
I guess we did parks.
Thank you, Ralph.
We did park bonds.
Alright,
Okay.
so, ladies and gentlemen, is there anything else anybody wants to bring up for discussion? Before we leave?
I do.
Okay. Can I take a point of privilege before you do?
Yeah.
Because Jill is here. I just want to point out, can you all see Jill Presley over there? Hello, raise your hand, Jill.
Hi, everyone.
I want you all to know that for months now, Jill, at the end of every meeting, comes and hands me a list of all the city sidewalks that have been repaired in the previous month.
Oh.
It is an impressive list. And she just did 2 sidewalks in my neighborhood, which everybody is thrilled beyond belief with. And it's a very impressive list, and the interesting
Chair
thing is,
privilege, look at this.
no, it's really, not only is it in response to community requests, and there are many communities, she's got more community requests than she knows what to, but they proactively go out, and if they see an unsafe sidewalk situation, they repair them. So I just want for the record, in case they don't of us, I want the record to show how much we appreciate Jill Presley's providing us with that information. Now, you had something, James?
I did. At the last meeting in October, we had a pretty extensive discussion about the sewer line getting broken and all the flooding that occurred down in actually your neighborhood, Marilyn.
Yes.
And I just was wondering, and I don't know, Omar, if there's been any more additional information come through on that in terms of cleanup and the company who were at fault for drilling the hole or whatever they did to break the line and the fines associated with it or anything like that?
54 inch.
Was I submitted? I don't think I was.
That was inside the wastewater treatment plant.
Which one?
It's the
54 inch.
effluent line.
Oh, when they had the break.
Yeah, to move the cameras.
Yeah,
So
punctured
it's
something.
definitely was a contractor mistake, and they're still looking into it. And that's all I know. I don't think
No
it's
fines
resolved.
have been,
Yeah.
I
don't believe
or
it's
the
resolved.
city, the fine that the city is gonna get, or
No.
which will be paid for by the.
No, I haven't heard. Nancy, have you heard anything on that? I don't think it's resolved yet. right?
It's not resolved, but
Yeah.
it's very clear that the contractor was responsible and is aware, per their contract, they are responsible for the additional costs and for any fines that may be levied.
Let me add something to that, which I find somewhat disturbing. The condominium association, which is in that area, 275 units of housing and an apartment building. That whole street was flooded with that effluent. The contractor who was responsible, remember, he hired Cliff Berry, and Cliff Berry cleaned it all up, okay? But before Cliff Berry got there, the condominium association had a private contractor come and clean some of the stuff because it took Cliff Berry a while to get there and they were like wading through stuff. And they, I, on their behalf, as a civic association president, I inquired as to the city, who did they send the bill to? I mean, because they spent, I don't know how much they spent, I didn't see the bill, but they spent money to clean it up before Cliff Berry got there and did a big cleanup, which they did very well, by the way. And you know what the risk management said? It's not the city's fault, you can't sue us. So what you have to do is you have to sue the contractor who is responsible.
Correct.
Now, they have to go out and hire a lawyer, and they have to file suit against that contract, and the city is not helping them at all. Because I imagine if the city got involved, there's all kinds of,
And that's for almost every contract that we have. The
Right.
contractor is responsible unless it's the city's fault by them making a mistake like,
okay, so these people are now hiring attorneys and going and having to sue whatever the name of the contractor is for money that they spent to do some of the cleanup before they cleaned it up. Just interesting information. I know, it doesn't sound right.
Why didn't you just send them an invoice? Right.
Yeah, I would
Try
just
to handle it amicably first.
ask
Oh,
for.
That's what I was
certainly,
thinking.
certainly try and do it before, but I
Yeah,
don't know,
before you
I
call
don't know
lawyers,
if they did that or
geez.
not. That,
Hopefully
that would be
that was
my
the
advice to
first
them, just hand them an invoice and see if they can't do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll try and do it and get taken a
You
look
gotta
at.
handle the invoice.
Yes, sir.
I had a question about seawall, and we with the recent king tides, did we have any unexpected intrusion areas?
I wouldn't say unexpected. Certainly there were areas that flooded more and deeper than they have in the past. We experienced some of the highest king tides this year that we've ever had, especially sustained. September was particularly severe, and one Sunday in November, we got to a very high elevation as well. There are areas that we are recognizing that if there are changes in the private property, that can accelerate problems on the public right-of-way. We had a house that had been demolished, one on Flamingo Drive and another one that was on Delmar Place. And that the removal of those houses created a conduit for an inadequate seawall to allow water to come into the right-of-way. So those are issues that we have dealt with in terms of providing for citations for those private property owners. And at this time, there is some discussion about going to the commission to consider additional funding for the city-owned seawalls that were breached in order to accelerate those projects. Our current funding in the CIP only allows us to do 1 to 2 projects a year, and the current cost greatly exceeds that funding for the 4 or 5 seawalls that we believe need to be addressed sooner.
Should we write a
I-
letter? Okay. Is
Yeah, if we or somebody is alive on February, we certainly would do that. Personally, I don't think we need to be doing anything in January. Because we don't know if there's gonna be a committee. I mean,
I agree.
so unless you guys wanna just meet and talk, that'd be fine by me, but taking on any major projects or asking the staff to do major presentations if we're not gonna be here,
It's Roosevelt's birthday though, isn't it?
In January?
Yes, it is.
All right.
That's another reason
You
why
had
it shouldn't be.
You had another question, Roosevelt?
Yes, no, not a question, just a comment to staff. I had the privilege of calling in a water break at my meter. And I made sure that the young lady I was talking to realized it was on the city side of the meter. And what was impressive, within 30 minutes, I had 4 people out there with shovels and picks, and they dug up and they replaced. They made me proud. They simply made me proud. And I told them, I said, when I go to my next meeting, I'm gonna make sure that I let them know that you guys did an excellent job.
And I'm gonna pile on and say that at the Council of Fort Lauderdale Civic Association meetings, the staff made an excellent presentation about Fortify Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And it was really good, and people were beginning to, I think people are beginning to understand what's going on, and it was really quite good. And there are people out there now looking at the water meters. I got a notice that there's a company, Enviro,
They are changing all the meters to the electronic, I mean,
the digital meters, yeah. They're out there on the street now working.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be going on for the next couple of years.
Wow,
To
it's gonna
change
take
all
that
60,
long?
I think it's 60,000 meters, I believe.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a long time.
That's a big project.
They're
All
they're
that-
gonna start with a pilot area to proof of concept. Make sure that the software is working correctly, make sure how the process is working for switching out the meters, notifying the people as their meters being switched out, and then testing the system. As soon as that is done, then they'll go whole hog, and it's at least a 2-year process, because as Omar said, it's about 60,000 meters.
Are they auto read, like they poll them, or do they still need to be manually read?
This is automated meter reading, so it's all done through a communication network. And there will be software that will be accessible by residents to be able to see their water usage and things along those lines. They'll also be programmed to provide alarms for excessive usage, and that way we can catch leaks much sooner to
Oh, that's
reduce
amazing.
costs to the residents if they have a break on their side of the meter.
That's good.
So which branch that was awarded for a meter?
I wanna say Badger, but I don't remember.
I don't remember the brand.
That's a great project.
Either Badger or Neptune, that's the most
So,
known in Florida. Are they gonna be in a cellular or you need to install receivers in the city?
I'm not sure.
I don't recall what they finally.
Because now they're going into cellular infrastructure, so they actually own a cell phone signal.
oh, you know what I just remembered? We didn't mention Lohmeyer in the list of things.
Well, it's under consent orders, no?
Is Lohmeyer in the consent orders?
Not yet.
Technically,
No.
it is because of the I&I problem.
Okay, all right, good close.
If we get the I&I problem, we don't have to put in those extra deep wells.
Right.
Because
We'll
all
We'll
the
never fix I-9.
But there is a lot of
Yes,
I&I.
sir.
Can I ask Jill a quick question about
Absolutely.
sidewalks? So the city recently has been strictly enforcing the sidewalk requirement on all single-family houses, regardless if it's really a good place to put it in. Has there been any discussion, and maybe this question's not for you, but about looking at it more like a capital expansion fee type, where instead of putting a remnant sidewalk in the middle of a neighborhood that will never be complete, they can pay into a fund that would go then towards your projects where you could allocate it in a better location?
I can't speak to that directly because I think what you're mentioning is the ULDR code.
Correct.
Okay, so that is managed by Building Services. However, I am open to that idea because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right, and everybody's
And
going
if we
from-
know where it's planned and what they're required to build the sidewalks, then we can connect that
Right,
and maybe not force two people building the same sidewalk.
or a sidewalk that would never be
Or a
connected.
sidewalk that will never connect up.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
It
like
just seems like
Simon's
money,
own. Oh, yeah, that's a
money
great
better
idea.
spent somewhere else, okay.
Now that the comprehensive sidewalk plan is almost finished, or finished, the new comprehensive sidewalk plan that Karen was working on?
Yes,
So now you will-
Transportation Mobility has their own sidewalk master plan, and then Public Works Engineering has our own sidewalk assessment. We just completed that. We just got those deliverables of all the existing sidewalks throughout the city.
Which is feeding the comprehensive plan so that they can figure out where to make the connections.
Right, Tam is doing the gaps.
The gaps.
And we are doing the assessment of the existing network
Right,
for repair.
Yes.
only for repair.
Just
But
for
they-
repair.
now that they have it, well, no, only for repair. So you're only looking at places that need repair.
The public works side, our plan is where do we need to make the repairs? The transportation mobility side is where are the gaps in the network that need to be filled?
And the gaps, I think, if we're here, we should really talk about that, because the question is, do you want that money to go into an impact fee for the gaps? Or do you want that money to go into an impact fee for the repairs? But we can talk about that when we get, I think they'd be more impressed with putting it into the gaps.
To the gaps, I agree.
Than the repairs.
Yeah.
All right, we can talk about that, yes.
Nancy, I wanna
I
ask
have some
Nancy
additional
something,
information on the AMI. The company that's doing it is Core in Maine, and that will be installing a private radio network to receive and send signals to and from the meters.
Wow.
Priority.
So now your meter is talking to somebody.
I have a
They don't have to come
question
out.
regarding,
Signal.
I have a question about the repairs of sidewalks. Does the city still prioritize them based on the worst? In other words, something like 4.5 inch deviation from that and then work down to less priority, like with an inch or something like that?
Yes, we prioritize, we have 3 categories. We do, first priority was risk division notifies us if someone has been injured or has a claim. And then we also prioritize in the highly used areas like the beach, downtown, based on vertical displacement or horizontal displacement. And we, that's why we had to have that citywide assessment to see how many locations had exceeded the ADA requirements.
It's the same what you had before.
Same what we had, and what we wanted to do is just have current data.
Okay, thank you.
So that current data,
Yes.
if we would have fixed all your priority areas, how many millions of dollars would we need?
We're going to be working on that estimate shortly. It's gonna
Next
take us a
budget-
month or two.
Whoever's here next budget round, that's the one that we
Yes.
go for.
Millions.
All right.
But
Upon
it's a
mature
single thing.
reflection, I think we should keep the January meeting
Yeah.
in the event that they come back to us with something and we have to discuss it. They could come back. So let's keep the
We can
January
celebrate
meeting.
Roosevelt's birthday.
Right.
We can
So-
have birthday cake.
All right.
But I don't think you can use the impact fee for the repair and maintenance, has to be the gap,
It would have to be
because
that.
you
Just
gotta
like-
build the capacity.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you want any
Capacity.
topics for that meeting, or we leave it blank now?
Let's leave it blank for the time being, and Vicky and I, we always communicate in case something comes up. Okay, well, everybody, I want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. And looking forward to seeing everybody back in January.
In the new year.
Yay. See you next year.
New Year.
Yep.
Thank you all.
1 hour meeting.
That's what we do. And another big thank you to our Public Works crews who work hard each day to enhance the life of everyone in Fort Lauderdale. If you need help from Public Works, just call our 24/7 customer service line. That's 954-828-8000. I'm Arlene Borenstein, and we are FTL.
Good morning, my name is Cedric Wright, been with the City of Fort Lauderdale Parks and Rec for 29 years. And we come this morning to let you know how we get this beach going for the spring breakers and those who come out to enjoy air, land, and sea.